It was a creature that's been so like consumed by the crystals that like they're nothing but a shell of their former selves, almost like just an ashen shell. But from inside, this glow of these crystals is just keeping it alive. So it's like you can see through the cracks and the breaks in its body, like this glowing blue or green or whatever color, is the dominant color. Not that that's our creature tonight, but I thought that was just a cool visual when he described it.
Thank you.
Cool. Any drawing yet?
I can show you my schedule. Something like that.
Ooh.
I know it's just a pencil, but
That's pretty cool.
like a humanoid form,
Yeah.
but just like cooked, like a briquette,
And I really enjoyed last week's episode where we created the Remulos, the Dream Thief, and the Mycomares, which, as I was stating earlier, sounds incredibly like a band you would hear.
It does.
Yeah. So that episode's doing pretty good. People are kind of digging it. So thank you guys for watching it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy, or I hope you enjoy what we come up with tonight, because I have no idea. The only thing I have written down is Fear Monster. That was it.
I had no ideas for tonight, so at least I'm not alone.
Artie and I sometimes will get together and draw, and he pulls things out of it. Is there any way we could maybe use that as a inspiration, maybe?
Absolutely. I pulled it. This you can cut this if you want, or add it. But I pulled a couple of cards the other day, and I got see if this sparks anything with you guys. A druid trail.
Druid trail.
Not really like a creature. But
No.
an item or a magical place or something.
The first thing I thought of was Witch's Trail, or Witch's Road. Witch's Road only had a Druid Trail. Maybe it's almost like a little campaign.
Okay.
Yeah. They got trials to do.
Yeah.
Kind of have a druid kind of theme to it.
There is a place in Athalia I've never actually traveled to, no party has ever traveled to, called Three Witch Cove. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to make that something. I don't know what it is. In my head, it's something to do with witches, and it's a cove. But that's as far as it's ever gone in my head. It just sounded good, and I feel like there's a story there somewhere.
What, did you watch Agatha All Alone?
No, I don't think we've watched that show.
Oh, you ought to. It's awesome. But it deals with the Witch's Road, and every episode they have a different trial they have to pass.
That could be an interesting, little not a campaign, but like a short module almost in a way or something.
Yeah.
Something you interject.
Or just maybe the cove, maybe instead of a druid trail, maybe this kind of like more like to the Witch's Road, but this is a Witch's Cove. Maybe we can help you with kind of thinking what you can do with your Witch's Cove.
Yeah, I don't know what lives there, what exists there. I feel like maybe it's haunted. Maybe it's Three Witches Cove was once cursed by these three witches, and everything went to hell from there. I don't know what that curse was, if it brought forth famine and plague or a demon from the bowels of hell or what it was, but I feel like Three Witches has something to do with cursing and creating this very dark and almost haunting area part of Athalia.
I kind of like the idea of the druid trail too.
We could combine the ideas.
Yeah, sends them down the druid trail.
I can also pull some more.
Yeah, why not? Like every little facet, maybe like every 5 minutes or so, if we don't have a definitive, boom, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We just add a card in, and it gets harder and harder at that point.
Throwing them against the wall till they stick.
Yeah, until robot and vampire pop up, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I think those are both in there.
That's the risk we have to take tonight for you guys to enjoy the
All right, here we go.
I love how on hand that is.
What's the bag say?
I keep it right on my table. Oh, Jesus. Robot.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Robot druid trail. Roses.
All right. Okay. So the trail is lined with roses at some point. When you find the roses, you'll find the trail, the druid trail that leads to it. However, a robot that's involved beforehand, I feel like we could probably take that robot and kind of turn it into something an artificer could make rather than make it an actual robot. maybe it's a guide. Maybe it's some sort of something left over from an older time that still operates, almost like a waypoint or something, saying, "Hey, where are you looking for? I am the road bug. Which direction?"
And I consider golems like a robot.
Yeah,
It's like a
yeah,
factory
yeah. A Maw, you've got the Planescape, you've got those Maudrons that come from Mechanus, which is basically just gears and creatures made from gears and stuff like that. So it's not so far-fetched. It could be something like that somewhere along the Druid trail that leads to Three Witch Cove, the cursed Three Witch Cove.
Maybe instead of a robot, maybe it looks like a robot, but there's actually a creature inside it.
Yeah, it could be painted even like a giant, an acorn, like sits on this creature or something. I don't know why I'm thinking acorn or it would look like that, but in my mind, it's like almost like a beetle-like, robotic beetle-like. The roses remind me of the Dark Tower, the path to the Dark Tower. In a field of roses, the Dark Tower rises up out of it. Maybe this town rises up out of these gardens of roses. Perhaps this is a part of Athalia that just they grow this rare rose, and treasure seekers come here to try to find them, but they find themselves lost in the Three Witch Cove, a cursed place that when you enter it, your mind is lost for all eternity, or until you make a Constitution saving throw, or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just an idea. Whew. What do you think of that?
Start of something. It's a nice
It's a
hook.
start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what if there's a little patch of roses just sticking there, totally out of place? The party goes to investigate them, and as they do, all of a sudden it starts rising, and it's this large robotic-looking thing.
Like it's been
roses
sitting...
for hair.
Yeah, like maybe is that a part of the creature, or is it something that maybe that robot's been there for so long, it's just been covered by moss and roses and whatever plant life.
Yeah, they just started growing out of its head.
Oh yeah, like mounds of moss and foliage, and
maybe his body's like a big tree trunk. It's got limbs for arms and legs, but it just looks more like a marionette more than a treant, which would be robotic.
I'm thinking about what's the Wizard of Oz, the sequel to that?
Was it Return to Oz?
Return to Oz, yeah.
The 80s one.
There's that owl that's kind of what is the term? Steampunky in a way. That's got yeah.
Well, then you got shame on me forgetting his name in Clash of the Titans. It's like Nicodemus or something.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I think they both have mechanical creatures.
This tree. What if we focus on this tree?
Maybe it kind of leads them to the quest of going to the Witch's Cove.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be a nemesis that this doesn't have to be a monster that they fight. It could just be a creature that an encounter that any party could come across this part of Athalia that leads you to Three Witch Cove. What does he know? What is he all about? How long has he been there? When's the last time someone's encountered him? Is it a rare thing? Is he only one, or is he a production line? Is there multiple versions of this?
He is cursed from the witches. There's a lot of cursed creatures along the Druid trail.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I like that. It's like the trail of like curses, like a cursed trail. It's somewhere you don't want to find yourself, but if you do, you can quite easily find yourself lost on this trail. Maybe the roses are something to help guide the way. Maybe it's one of the waypoints. This creature, this tree robot creature is one. The roses are another. I think we need to stretch our thought muscles at some point and create some kind of a riddle. We talked about last week when we were talking about the mycomares and how they bring you in this dreamlike state. What the hell was I just talking about? Riddles. Yeah. There was mention of that, and like I love the idea of incorporating riddles into something that we create, and maybe this is the scenario where we do at some point, but I'd love to come up with a riddle with you guys, like actually come up with an original riddle, because it's tough, and every time I've done it, I've failed miserably.
Yeah, riddles are hard.
This thing has been cursed. Maybe it's a riddle that a riddle of like his existence or who he really was. But he doesn't know who he was, but he knows bits and pieces, and he can only think of it as in a riddle. And he wants help to find out who he really was.
So he only talks to you pretty much kind of in riddle form, maybe, when he talks?
Yeah, or just when he tries to think of who he was, it's just kind of, he just gets bits and pieces of what his true identity was, so he can only explain in a riddle.
I think he should have been like a guard to like Three Witch Cove or something. Maybe he's the reason why it's cursed. A decision he made led him and his town, or this whole cove, to be cursed by these witches. And maybe only a riddle can undo his soul boundness to this tree robot thing. I don't know. Yeah, there's bits and pieces. It's coming together. I like that we're creating a region, a story behind the region, and a location, this road, a creature.
Okay, well, it's a druid road, so I guess anything the encounters or anything would be. Would it involve that there was a evil druid and he has corrupted the animals? So druid would kind of druidy.
All the creatures are kind of more vicious and aggressive towards people who travel through this druid's grove.
What about the witches?
Yeah, do the witches still hang out there, or does their curse just linger long after they've been gone, or do the ghosts of these witches still exist here, or are they just still alive?
Maybe a combination. One's a ghost, one's alive. How many would they be?
What about this? Okay, so there's 3 witches. They were all sisters. Let's even say they were triplets. But at birth, 2 of them died. One of them, though, trades existence every 10 years. So, like, one sister comes forward and lives in this body. Maybe it's just a spectral body. I don't know. That just popped in my head. The idea of, like, 1 in 3, 3 in 1, a holy trinity type weird thing with these witches would be interesting.
I just had this vision of a crooked old witch and like ghostly like babies or witches like floating behind her, like their spirits. Maybe they want to get their forms back or something.
They lure people in that they can possess for a time, maybe, and take over their bodies and live in the world again or something like that. Yeah, I do think this whole cove needs to be like a trap almost by these witches, that anybody who's foolish enough to travel into their region could very likely not just die, but lose their soul or their way. Or
okay, maybe as they collect maybe souls or whatever, they do become more. They regain their body. They were ghosts, and maybe each one's at a different stage. One's still a ghost. One's kind of a skeletal. The other is almost kind of like a zombie looking. And as each one gets a soul, then they start getting their physical form back.
I almost feel like I want to progress the stages of like the third one to almost fully formed in a way. Yeah. Then maybe like a zombie version, and then a ghostly version. The consequences of all 3 of them finally taking true form again should be like catastrophic for that region. Like their power, now that they're back in the real world, like it would be like a mini micro campaign where you're kind of sending the party out, or they get lost either way along this trail, get sucked into this labyrinth of haze and smoke and fog, and they're trying to find their way through. They run into the rose bush, they run into the robot tree creature, and they kind of learn parts of the story as they go along. They want to help the robot tree creature by restoring him to, or freeing his soul from the creation that he's trapped in. At the same time, they have to worry about these 3 witches that if they're successful in killing the party, they will come into the world and wreak havoc on the region. So the party is always trying to find a way to stop this from happening. I guess that would be kind of the timeline of events, sort of? No? Maybe? Yeah. What about the cove itself? Is it like just foggy and hazy all the time? Maybe ships cannot come into the cove unless they're ghost ships or something?
Yeah, almost swamp like around there's a beach. Instead of a beach, it's more swampy. Yeah, maybe they were banished to this cove, and that's where they died, and then now they're trying to come back. And if they come back, they can get vengeance on the village or town that banished them.
What if it's all ghost pirates that would come to this cove to hide out because they knew it was a safe haven? They were betrayed, and now their souls, haunt these streets of the city. Maybe they still think they're still alive too. You know what I mean? They're just there doing their thing.
And as far as the little robot dude, maybe they don't take their soul, but they take the energy essence from their body, and their souls are like cast into the druid's trail. And so there'll be several creatures that were once human, but their soul was cast into something else.
Yeah, any creature that you'd find in the forest, or even a plant.
Well, it's like a ghost story kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm seeing it in my head. Like, I feel like there's no daylight that breaks through. At best, you might get a lighter haze, but there's always a fog, especially on the ocean, like the swamps. Maybe it was an ocean once, but it dried up, and that's
Or eventually gets out to the ocean.
yeah, eventually it would get there. But that's, part of the curse is that, they became landlocked, where once they were a bustling port city. Unfortunately, whether through curse or just by natural erosion and how land changes and forms move and stuff, maybe it landlocked them. I don't know. Maybe they saw it as a curse, but it wasn't, or I don't know.
Something's cooking.
You could actually combine this with the creature that we made last week as the party's traveling through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the druid trail would be a good place for those little.
It would be a perfect spot. Yeah, you could it's a double whammy right there.
It sounds like it would definitely not be a stretch to have them on this island.
If you look at the map, okay, so Three Witch Cove is right on over here. So kind of probably be in this cove area. Maybe this part of it would be the actual Three Witch Cove. Anywho, yeah, it is on the ocean, but I mean, like I said, this would be easily to edit to just turn this into like a swampy marshland, kind of that land that, like, when you go to the beach, especially in New England, there's that clam digging area that's like real, like perfect for like just thick, gross, sink your feet into the mud type area. Like, maybe it's that type of, like, mangroves kind of growing here now. It's really hard to get from the coast out to the ocean because you have to go through 10 miles of mangrove, through thick swamps, snakes, alligators. But the worst of all is it's also haunted and cursed by these witches of Three Witch Cove.
Yeah, get the reeds sticking up.
Yeah, just real brutal cutting, razor grass cutting at you as you're trying to traverse through it, even after you've gotten through the worst of the muck.
I guess almost where you've got that river going in.
Yeah.
Just as you go into the river, that's where you would find the cove. You got marsh, and you got a few trees out there. You got the
little Louisiana.
Not a weeping willow, but that's the moss hanging off the tree. It's kind of like what I envisioned, kind of something like that you got a little more land just on the edge, closer to the woods, and where they have their huts. So I was thinking if it's further down that river, just as you reach into the river, then you could have more tree cover.
Yeah, it makes sense for the Druid Trail to pass through the forest.
I mean, Cove doesn't have to be large like that whole large area you were looking at. Ooh, here's something even better.
Let's take a look. So after you get into this cove, is it traversable by land, or is it just like plots of land in a giant swamp-like area? Like, I think you need to have some way to travel over water, or you're going to have to swim or something.
Definitely could travel over with the boat, small boat. Maybe as you're traversing down that little creek river, then you breaks out into the cove.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Yeah, because that would be just a nice, like, visual. Like, I think about the Jungle Boat ride, if you've ever been to, like, Disney, and you go through there. Like, I feel like you're kind of like, would have to be one of those real quiet. Everything, you hear birds, you can hear maybe monkeys in the trees. Occasionally something splashes in the water, but it'd just be this, like, jungle adventure almost in a way where at some point you'd have to be on this boat because getting in and out of Three Witch Cove is not possible any other way.
I like that. No, I'm down with that.
Maybe the robot tree guy leads them to one of the old boats that would go up and down the coast inside of the cove. And I feel like he journeys with the party till they can help him. Like, he sticks with them. He's a friendly guy. He has information about the area if they have questions. It's a nice way for the DM to filter what he wants the party to know through this kind of possessed robot tree.
Okay, what if the souls, when they go out into the Druid's trail, they attach to something to give them some form of a body. And this particular one came across something that somebody had built or something. Yeah, they kind of made this almost like not a totem pole, but it was something they made that had a trunk for body and legs and stuff, and he occupied that. What about like they get a boat, but their guide that's steering the boat, maybe that was another person that lost their essence and their soul went out and found a crocodile bones, the skeletal crocodile with the pole that sends them down the river.
Yeah, I would think that they could probably occupy any kind of body.
Yeah, anything they come across.
Well, the carcass, it could be a huge crocodile carcass, but that's the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Like they get hollowed out and you ride inside the body of this massive crocodile, 30-foot crocodile or something like that. Yeah, that's cool.
Or it's been rebuilt. It could still be sentient.
Yeah, maybe they're out, the souls out there, they're lost souls that are trying to help you, because if you can kill the witches, that'll release their souls so they can move on. Otherwise, their souls are trapped in the Druid's trail.
Defeat the witches, free the souls. Because a party would leave a mark on that area for the rest of history, you know what I mean? If they were able to defeat the witches and clean it all up.
Yeah, and they'll keep coming across these grotesque things that are coming after them, but they really want them to help them.
Yeah. Push them along. Some of them have kind of lost more of their humanity than they can hang on to, though. So it comes across as very aggressive in some cases.
Yeah, and there's got to be some things that are out there to kill them.
Let's check in with Artie here. We got something coming along here. Ooh.
It might be difficult to see, but
a little bit.
That's kind of what I was thinking. This guy, the golem, he's like getting reabsorbed into the earth. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I'll try to line him up.
Almost like he was buried in an unmarked grave and dug his way out after his soul returned to his body, like this carcass or something, like he's pulling himself out, but he'll never fully make it out.
All rocks and roots and...
Yeah, he's rooted to the ground now.
Maybe he found an old carcass and then kept piling earth and stuff to build his body.
Something kept him going enough that he formed his lower body out of the ground itself. But he now is the earth. He's part of the earth. He's just so rooted into it. Like he has...
Yeah. Like, he looks human, but it's just a collection of dirt and rocks and mud and weeds and vines and trees, branches growing out and stuff.
Okay, it is the Druid's trail. I mean, there is a druid somewhere, an elusive druid that helps these lost souls create a body. There's different ways. Yeah, some maybe piece together the animal parts, some with earth and stone, and some with tree. And maybe
this is the druid's way of helping. He's keeping these... Not keeping the souls, but protecting the souls. I always want to make that druid like this. Or are we going with the idea that he's a bad guy? He's an evil druid, or is there a druid in this area that's good, trying to do away with this curse?
He could look a little like shady, like he could go either way.
Yeah, maybe being here for so long and trying to protect all of these souls has corrupted him enough that he's lost a little bit of his mind and he doesn't know who he really is anymore. Is he the hero that's trying to save these souls, or is he just here to reap the benefits of the chaos in this area?
He's like this crazy hermit. He's not much help, but he does find lost souls and helps them with create some kind of body for themselves.
This is great. This is so fantastic, though. Just that in my mind now, like I can see Three Witch Cove for the first time. Like I'd never seen it before. Like it was just a name in my head.
Okay, you got this crazy hermit. He knows when he sees a soul and he wants to help it. He's like, oh, I gotta build you a body. You never know whether it's gonna be good or evil. Some of them may be good that want to help the party because they know that they at least get a sense that if the witches could be defeated and destroyed, their souls would be released. But then you got some souls that were bad souls to begin with, and they were evil in life, and they're evil even as these creatures in the woods. So maybe some of them are going to want to attack the party, while some want to help the party, or not really help them, but at least send them down the trail to get to the Witch's Cove.
Yeah, they're going to help in that regard.
Yeah, they want the party to help them.
Yep.
So the party won't ever really know if what they come across is going to try to attack them or want their help.
Yeah, it could be good, could be evil. You don't know. I think those evil souls that are inside of whatever the creations are, whether it be earth or bones or whatever that this mad hermit has kind of put the soul into, I think that they should be souls that have gone on and see what awaits them and have been brought back. And so, like, they want to live as long as they can. So consuming life is the only thing that allows them to remain on the surface and not in their, one of the 9 hells or something.
Okay, you wanted to have pirates. What if there is a pirate ship or two that are grounded right at the entrance of the cove, and there are some actual pirates on it that are now dead, and they're kind of like zombified, and the witches have got them as their personal little army.
I'd love to see them actually be zombified, but still completely cognitive of their former lives.
Yeah.
And so maybe they come off as aggressive and attack the party at first because they're working for the person, but there's a way to get out of that. If a good conversation, perhaps somebody pulls out a good bottle of rum or something, they realize, hey, these guys aren't so bad. Like, they're almost like, on the fit, like pirates would be, they're looking for the greatest opportunity that presents itself.
They're opportunist.
Yeah. Yep.
And maybe you could come across different patrols that may the witches kind of use these pirates instead of taking them for their essence. And maybe they didn't want them. So there's a reason they didn't want their essence. So they kind of like captured their souls and kind of treated them as their army. And sometimes they'll go out in the woods and capture people to bring them to the witch so that the witches can take their essence.
Maybe like these pirates were right near the cove and some sirens came to them and lured them in, and that's how they got trapped there and they, became what they became.
Or they just used it as they thought it was a good place to hide, but found out the hard way that there's some evil witches. Yeah,
I definitely think pirates have a history in this cove somehow, and I think that's a good way to tie them in, is have them be, they thought it was a good place to hide out. Turned out to be the worst choice of their lives, and now for all eternity they're just trapped here until the witches are defeated.
Yeah, they do still have their souls, so they're still cognitive. And they have they still have their free will, but except they can't leave the cove, and they're kind of enslaved by the witches.
They will live forever as long as they don't leave this cove.
Yeah, and some of them like that idea, and some may not.
So the witches would be the ultimate bad guy of the area, and are they defeated through combat, through riddle? Are they, what happens when they are defeated? Are they defeated for all time? What's their story? What's up with them?
Well, since they're at 3 different stages, each one would have its own different abilities, special attacks, vulnerabilities.
I would think you could almost just base them off of a more powerful zombie for the middle one. The ghost could be a powerful form, a wraith, a ghost, whatever you look at the undead list, and you could use the statistics for that.
Yeah.
And then the one that's still it's consumed enough souls that it's living again. It just needs 5 more souls or something like that before it'll be complete. And then their curse will be forever thrown upon the land, never to be removed again, or something like that. So, like, that's when the party would come across these witches.
The one that's almost full form should be more like a wizard.
Yeah, I would say they were a wizard, like maybe a high-level wizard. I wish there's no witch class or subclass in the older, like, 5th edition. Is there?
No.
This would almost be a character rather than a creature almost that you'd create through Beyond, I would think.
Oh, under the monsters, there is a blood witch, a Dunbarrow witch.
What's their CR on our, like, is there any that's higher than normal? Because I feel like this is almost like a regional event type scenario / campaign, where if the party's coming here to do something, it's going to permanently affect Athalia in this region. So I feel like it's got to be maybe, I don't know, 15 or higher. The 2 below, I think the zombie and the ghost would be easy enough to just pull any random stats. But this top witch, I think the one that's near life, she might need a little bit more of a personal touch.
Yeah.
What are their names? We got 3 sisters.
Morla.
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 I like that. I like that. Morla works. That gives us somewhere to avoid now for the other two names. We don't want to go with anything that sounds or looks like Morla.
Yeah. Wow, here's a 19 CR rating 19 witch. That's Tasha. That's Tasha.
Oh, from
It's
Tasha's
like,
cauldron. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
That might not be bad to take a look at her because I feel like right around that level would be the one that
Just
they
level.
would face. Because the ghost and the zombie, no matter how powerful, the most powerful ghost we can find and the most powerful zombie stats we can find, unless we recreate them entirely, are going to be pretty easy to defeat physically. The third one, I think, there should be like a Tasha, like a little bit higher level than
Yeah, because she's kind of like she's the first one to start building up, building her, getting her
Mhm.
body back, and
Right.
working on her magic again. And
Yeah, she's back. She's starting to get back in the swing of things. She just needs those last 5 souls. And how many people are in this party? We'll say there's 5. There it works out. She defeats them. She becomes whole. The cove is lost forever, or the party must defeat her and remove the curse for all time.
Make a note, whatever the amount the party is the amount of souls.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
and if anybody falls, she gets even more powerful.
Yeah. She just re-ups all her hit points, spell slots back. So you do not want to fall.
Yeah, if someone falls, she gains the power, but they can still be resurrected or whatever, but she gets the abilities that she would have gotten.
There's a blood witch that has a CR7. That might be cool for the second one.
Somebody said a name not too long ago at some point during the conversation that sounded like a really good second name. What about like Amber? Or it's an A name, not Anastasia. Not. We could go with like a medicine and go with Allegra.
Yeah. Yeah, Allegra. That is a name. I mean, I've heard of it as an actual name, Allegra, or something similar to it. Alacia.
Alacia with an A. Alacia.
Mhm.
Like Elacia, except yeah, that would work. We got to write a story for these witches and what came of them and why they became who they became.
Yeah, we do. Gotta have a backstory.
Even if it's just a few paragraphs that explains, how they became witches, what happened to them, and how they cursed this area. Alacia, Morla. We could do them all ending in the same letter. I think that's not as bad as starting in the same. Delilah.
Tanya.
Tanyana. Is that weird? Is that a weird name?
A little bit.
Okay. Tanasia. No, I don't like that. Tunasia.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriella.
Yeah.
I'll write it down. They can change. There's nothing like carved in stone here, but it allows us to at least.
Oh no! Once you say it, it's done.
So we got MAG for the names.
Mag. Oh, magpie. Related to a magpie. It's part of the riddle.
Maybe their last name is Magpie. Maybe finding their last name gives you power over them, a bonus over them, or something like that.
If you know their last name, you know how to find their gravestone.
Yes. And if you destroy the bodies in the graves, then you defeat the corresponding sister.
Like the ghost, the one that's a ghost.
Maybe the ghost can't be defeated. You have to find the body and consecrate it. And
like the one that's almost full form. I mean, she robbed her grave, got the body.
No, I like this train of thought. Maybe because she's almost physically whole again, there's just a fragment of her left within her grave. I don't think they should be buried together either. It'd be too easy if they were all in one plot. Like they were, buried separately. And each location could be different. One could be a mausoleum. One could be an actual gravestone.
Okay, what about this? The one that's almost full form, the village people, they killed him and buried him, but she wasn't quite dead. They buried her alive. They thought she was dead. And so she dug herself out, barely hanging on to life. And then she actually died and didn't decompose a bit.
Well, I mean, it could be they buried her alive, and in death she was offered a deal, power to get revenge over the people of the townsfolk that put her in the grave alive.
Oh, I got it. The crazy druid.
Okay.
He came across her and he says, well, if you allow yourself to die, I can take your soul and put it back in your body. He didn't realize that she was an evil witch or anything. He just likes taking souls and putting them into something else.
I like this druid.
He started losing his mind, and he started doing that. And maybe that's why there's some animals that are kind of crazed, because animals would die, and he would take their souls and put them back in their body.
Put them in things, yeah. Maybe he put a squirrel in a turtle and a turtle in a raccoon, and like he's just messing with nature. And
even though he puts her soul back in her body was still dead, so it started decomposing. But that's when she realized she used her magic to take people's essence to start building it back to stop the decomposing process. And she wants to bring herself back to life, and her sister. And maybe the one that's like the more zombified one, she found her body much later, found where that was buried, pulled it up, but it was further along, but she still tries to put her back in. And the other one is down to bones, but her spirit as a ghost is the two sisters together summoned up her sister, that third sister's spirit. So she's with them as a ghost.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great, because they're all at different stages working with each other to try to all get back to their physical forms again, so they can reign supreme.
Yeah, and the other one the middle one, the older one, can help give the middle one part of her power to bring her body back. But they need to wait till they're both full to have enough power to get the third one to that stage. So her bones are still resting in her grave.
I feel like 3 to 4 events need to occur over the course of heading into a battle with any of these witches. If the battle, or if these situations, one thing occurs, it allows them to grow stronger or weaker, depending on the actions that you kind of go through. It would have greater consequences to the actions of the players as they move along. They could have the ability to discover the location of the bones of the weakest sister and destroy the bones. And then now they've enraged the other 2 sisters who are still alive. But they also have allowed these 2 sisters to be the only ones, so they're only working for each other to make each other more powerful at that point.
Yeah, and maybe they need some event. The bodies, the people they've already killed, they're just your average people. But here is a party of strong warriors, probably magic users and everything that can complete the components that they need to do a ritual. Maybe they know where the sister's grave is, but they've created an altar. And once they get victims that are strong enough, that have the magic, that has something about them, they can bring the sister's bones up, put it on the altar, and do a ritualistically kill each member in the party to bring all 3 of them back together, strong and whole.
I love that. What about a Camp Crystal Lake scenario? What if there is a group of kids from a nearby town who have heard about the curse of Three Witch Cove and they don't believe it? What if part of this is these kids have gone out to camp in Three Witch Cove, have gone missing? Maybe that's the lure that brings the party to this area. And so their souls aren't necessarily as important at that point. There's maybe 10 souls, living souls in the swamp. 4 or 5 of them are these campers that are now lost and trapped here. And so if they save that party, one of the sisters now doesn't have a soul, and it now shifts to them. So like they are the souls. If they can get those kids out of the swamp, save those kids, that's one of those events that stops the witches from progressing. I don't know. It's just, I just was thinking about other ways that these witches would be gathering souls, and who's traveling through these parts, where are they getting these souls from? And they could be something just as simple as local folklore brings kids out here occasionally that never come back to the town.
I got a new the druid. I was trying to draw the druid guide.
Nice. Oh, I like the little fairy thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you got like a little sprite with them. Staff magic.
That's cool.
I feel like him and that fairy need to have extensive conversations, to the point where the party doesn't know if they're talking to each other or talking to them, almost in a way.
Or they've talked to each other for so long that totally, like, they're a little crazy, or he's a little crazy, the old hermit. druid.
Maybe a comment. Maybe the fairy speaks really quick, so fast that it's hard for people to tell what he's trying to say. And then the druid has tried through the years to keep up, so they've found some kind of balance in the middle where, like, even you listening to them talking is just like this. What is happening? This chaos conversation.
So you're awesome at making characters.
Yeah, it's cool to inhabit. Like, now we've got Three Witch Cove. We've got a story behind it. We've got the sisters' names. We've got this crazy druid that's a big part of it tied into it. It's just so neat to see this come to life. This area that had a name and nothing more.
He could have an involvement, like he could have been part of the group that initially banished them or something.
And made a deal with this druid to put her soul back into her body. And slowly, as she's collected souls, she's healed up. And she's not as hideously burnt and deformed as she once was. But it's still recognizable. Like, she's got a little bit, those 5 more souls is what she needs to be, Maybelline again.
Insert party number.
So what else do we need to know about Three Witch Cove? I mean, I feel like the story is kind of played out now. We know the gist of what's happening. The ultimate goal is defeating the 3 witches so that the curse can be lifted. I do think that whether it be Morla, Allegro, or Gabriella, we really create that character as maybe like a 17th or 18th level wizard, I guess, is the closest we could come to a witch.
Yeah. In the monster manual, they do have witches. So
yeah, you were saying the blood witch and
Tasha, which you could use. I think that blood witch looked pretty cool.
Yeah, as the tear down, the middle sister.
For the third wraith.
Yeah, I think a wraith. Is there any other wraiths, or is it just one wraith? Like, I know sometimes with undead, there's like tiers of.
I would think there'd be more than one.
Like zombies, I'm sure there's more than just your typical zombie. I'm sure there's like a orc zombie or an ogre zombie or something. Anything could be a zombie. A dragon could be a zombie. Dracolich.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna come up with the druid's name.
I feel like we should do that before we should wrap it up. We should at least give him a good name.
Artemis.
Billy the Wanderer.
August.
You say Morgus?
I said Orgus, but Morgus, maybe. Morgus the Wanderer.
Yeah, Orgus or Morgus. I think Orgus is nice too. Well, what about Orgus the Lost?
Mm.
Yeah.
Orgus the Lost one.
I kind of like Orgus the Lost.
What was he? So he's the sole survivor, or he's been left to.
Or would that be more of a wizard thing, doing the like Orgus the Lost?
I'm just thinking of what like locals would call him. They know about this druid who wanders through. He could be the Wanderer or the Lost. Both of them make.
I like the Lost, and maybe they sometimes just call him the Lost one.
Because no one rarely sees him. He's out there lost in the mist of Three Witch Cove and doing his own thing. But occasionally he is spotted, and yeah. Mm-hmm. Orgus the Lost.
Chatting with his little companion.
Yeah.
I can't understand.
It'd be
only
great.
He seems to be able to.
Yes, yeah. What if only he sees it, like everyone else? Kind of like
maybe.
Who the hell is he talking to? But it's there for him, but it's maybe not there for everyone to see. Or that's an option.
And maybe he could also talk to some of the other souls that he had come across and gave him some form of a body. So he's talking to these weird creatures every now and then.
Yeah, maybe he talks to souls that no one can see too sometimes. Yeah. Maybe that what makes him seem so crazy, even though in reality he can see the souls that he's speaking with.
Yeah, because he's real hurriedly and rummaging around trying to figure out what kind of body to make him.
Yeah, that seems like the fun thing. Like, that's where he's probably lost his mind a little bit. Like, now he's just like experimenting with elements of nature and souls and forming these creatures, and some of them turn out okay and some not so much.
I guess with what we've come up so far, gosh, we could go for hours on this.
I know that's the hard thing, is like, we've already created a campaign that we're working on. I don't want this to turn into that at this point. It's like a mini campaign. Here's your quick one-shot type deal. Like, this could be flushed out into a full, 3-month campaign, or you could probably shorten it into, a 2 or 3 week, gaming segment where you just, kind of wrap it up.
Overall, I think we helped you come up with a storyline for a region that you had, that you never had, but that was missing that component, missing a purpose. You had a great idea,
To me, that's the most exciting part of tonight is that I get to walk away knowing for the first time in 30 years what Three Witch Cove is. So
Yeah, that gives you something to work with now.
But
Actually, I think we probably shouldn't go any further. I think this is where you need to take your creativity, let it all soak in, and then you define exactly how you want it all to go.
I like the sound of that, and I like that other individuals who are watching this right now can take this. They don't have to call it Three Witch Cove. They can call it whatever they want, but they have a scenario, a location they could drop into any game that they really choose. So I'm glad for that, and I'm glad that there's still enough open-endedness that not only just for me, but other people who have watched this and want to use this idea now have the ability to kind of implement their ideas and take it that step further. And that was nice because sometimes we just wrap things up, nice and tightly and tie a little bow on it, and there you go, folks. You have it pretty much. You could write down the stats that we've talked about, but tonight is nice. We've kind of created a zone, a region, a story, a mini campaign, whatever you want to call it, and just left it to the players to really, or other DMs to do with it what they will from here.
Got monsters, possible other variations of monsters with the souls going out into the woods to be connected with some kind of body formed by the druid. Then you can figure out what his role in all this is.
Yeah.
Lot to think about. But you got the cast of characters in there. Lots of possibilities.
Possibilities are endless when your imagination is involved, and I've learned that more and more from these episodes. Well, that's going to wrap up another episode of Making Friends with Monsters. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this episode. As always, thank you, Jim and Artie, for joining me, my two creative geniuses. I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know.
Appreciate you and enjoyed it.
Oh, I appreciate the opportunity.
Don't go to sleep with a catch it in your pocket.
I'd like to, at some point in a future episode, try to create a dragon, a type of a creature equivalent to a dragon, trying to stay away from the tropes of a dragon, something that could live on the level of a dragon, because there's not a lot of creatures that you can run into in games that, instill that fear and excitement as a player when you're about to go toe to toe with any dragon for that matter. But I'd love to find something, maybe this creature just replaces dragons at some point. Maybe I'm thinking a little lofty. But I'm just saying, I feel like dragons have had their time in the sun. I think it's time for, maybe something that supersedes them just enough that puts a little fear into dragons. A little spoiler for a future episode right there.